4 Keys to Eternal Happiness. Part 3. Physical Health. Hi. Through this lecture, you will learn the secrets to living a happy life for a lifetime. Additionally, you will get fundamental healing of body and mind, from depression to adult diseases. The 4th key, causes of addiction and depression.
There have been saints who were free from all addictions, but they were great souls who had a noble spirit to save the people of the world. I am just an ordinary person. I do not have that noble spirit.
The saints who practiced abstinence and simple life, Jesus, Buddha, Epicurus, and Diogenes, did not do it for others. They stayed away from pleasure for themselves.
So if the saints were able to control their desires, why can't people like me?
People know in their heads that they must break free from addiction and obsession to be free, but they cannot put it into practice. The reason is that saints were able to achieve happiness anytime and anywhere through meditation, while ordinary people cannot do so. Meditation means being happy when you are doing nothing. To be happy when you are doing nothing, you need to be healthy. The saints who practiced abstinence were healthy enough to meditate. Most of the others were not healthy or did not know the joy of meditation. The reason why you can't get out of addiction is because you feel depressed and anxious when you do nothing. The reason why you feel anxious when you do nothing is because you have depression, and depression is a disease of the body.
Did you say depression is a disease of the body, not a disease of the mind?
Here, the health does not mean mental health. It literally means physical health. Health is not merely the absence of disease, but a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Source from WHO, World Health Organization.
Why do you think depression is a problem of body?
The followings are symptoms of depression, and these symptoms are evidence that human body is not healthy. Lack energy and no motivation for everything. Lethargy is an early symptom of depression and is due to unstable blood circulation. Pain in solar plexus. When blood clots build up in the blood vessels, they disturb blood circulation and cause pain in that area. Pain in solar plexus in depressed patients is evidence that there are many blood clots in the blood vessels throughout the body. Lack of affection in childhood. One of the common characteristics of depressed patients is that they are concerned about their parents' opinion. If they are not loved by their parents as children, their brain and adrenal glands do not develop, and they are always tense, which causes problems with blood circulation. Depression occurs due to hormonal imbalances and blood clots. The pressure from parents remains as PTSD in children even when they become adults. Frequent headache, digestive problem. Stress causes physical problems such as headache and digestive problem. Also, when your body is not healthy, you will experience pain and stress. It is a vicious cycle that repeats itself. Common symptoms of depression.
What are the symptoms of depression that can help me determine whether I have depression or not?
The followings are common symptoms in patients with depression. Worry before even starting work. If you are always psychologically depressed, you worry that the result will be negative before even starting work. You give up easily because you can't get away from negative thoughts. Too shy. If you have depression, you place a lot of importance on small things. You try to avoid meeting new people because you worry about reactions of strangers. Have a jinx. When people with depression have bad experiences with foods, people, products, etc., the memories stay in their memory for a long time. They mistakenly believe that the reason they are depressed is because of the bad events in the past. So, they try to avoid similar situations. Perfectionism tendency. When there is a change in the life cycle, it is difficult to adapt to even a small change, and even a small trial hurt you. As a result, perfectionism or obsessive-compulsive disorder symptoms become stronger, and you cannot start new challenges. Since no one is good at new jobs, you become conscious of other people's opinions and give up. Feeling anxious even when happy. When something good comes, you can't enjoy the happy situation because you have a strong sense of anxiety that this situation might end. Giving meaning to trivial things. When you have depression, your consciousness is focused outside of your body, and you give meaning to other people's trivial words. You spend time worrying about what the other person said. Think love is useless. Even if someone you love appears, you worry about the hurt when you break up. You can't do your best for the other person because you worry about the future. When the other person gets tired and leaves, you start to blame yourself for being passive. The opposite of happiness. Depression.
I have many of them. So, are you saying I'm not happy because I have depression after all?
Let's think about this. What is the opposite of happiness? I think the opposite of happiness is depression. Depressed patients feel unhappy even though they have no problem with their survival. Depression brings symptoms such as anxiety disorder, obsessive compulsion, delusion of victimization, and anger management issues. Since these uncomfortable symptoms are felt when doing nothing, the patients always try to forget the pains by turning their attention to the outside. Because they depend on external factors, they easily become addicted. To be truly happy, you must be happy when you are doing nothing. If you have depression, you feel anxious when you are doing nothing. That's why the opposite of happiness is depression. Symptoms of depression. Hoarding disorder.
I kept buying things I didn't need. Is shopping addiction also a sign of depression?
One of the characteristics of depression is hoarding disorder. Many depressed patients also try to fill their minds with attention from people around them. When you have depression, you always feel empty inside, so you try to fill that empty feeling with material things or people's attention. Among the habits of the rich, there is this one. Rich people throw away things they don't use. It's the opposite of depressed patients. When you have depression, both your body and mind become poor. Symptoms of depression. Interpersonal failure.
I have become irritable since my income declined during the pandemic. Yesterday, I found my wife leaving her socks on the bedroom floor, and I nagged her. I have become sensitive to minor issues that I would normally just ignore. How can I improve my interpersonal relationships?
The reason you feel so stressed out even over trivial matters is because you always feel anxious. When people are anxious, they mistakenly believe that when others around them make tiny mistakes, that is causing their difficulties. Therefore, in order to solve interpersonal relationship problems, you need to find the cause of your usual stress. The root cause of the stress you feel is not financial problem. Financial problem is just trigger. I believe you have mild depression. Since your depression is not serious, you do not recognize it, But when environmental problems arise, your depression becomes worse. That's why most patients with depression do not recognize that they have depression and neglect treatment. Your depression is not a mental problem, but a physical problem. Factors that determine emotions. Physical health.
I thought I was addicted to shopping because of stress. Do you think depression is not caused by the environment or stress?
People open their wallets for goods and services that please their emotions, because the most important factor to humans is the feeling of happiness. Emotions seem to be determined by material wealth, relationships with others, social success, etc. However, the impact of external factors on emotions is temporary. In the long term, emotions are determined by physical health, surrounding environment, and emotions.
I used to think that emotions were determined by my environment.
If people are constantly abused in childhood, their brain stops growing. As a result, their intelligence develops in one direction, or they have a lack of emotional control. An unfortunate childhood environment can cause lifelong depression. According to the Scammon growth curve, the human brain grows until the age of 14. Stress after becoming an adult can cause burnout or temporary depressive symptoms, but it rarely develops into depression. This is because emotions stabilize when the environment improves. If an adult gets depression due to the environment, it is likely that the person had depression before that, but did not know because symptoms did not appear. The period of depression caused by external factors in adults is longer than that of teenager.
Can you be more specific about why you think emotion and environment are separate?
Let's look at an example where emotion and environment are separate. 1. Depression. Depressed patients always feel empty and depressed emotion even when they are doing well without any special event. Even if there are no problem in the external environment, depressed patients feel negative emotions. 2. PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder. If you have PTSD, you feel fear even when there is no problem at the moment. Depression is also the cause of PTSD. The memory of the past that people recall is impacted by their current emotional state. If you feel good now, you remember happy moments from the past, and if you feel depressed now, you recall unhappy memories from the past. Even if you have trauma or painful experiences, when your depression is treated, PTSD will go away on its own. 3. ADHD. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. When the body is uncomfortable, people are always depressed and irritable, so they constantly think of other things to ignore the pain. Because they have too many thoughts, their concentration decreases. The progression of attention deficit disorder is as follows. Physical problems. To depression. To random thoughts. To ADHD. 4. Mycosis and obsessive-compulsive disorder. Depressed people limit their behavior because they mistakenly believe that the cause of their depression lies outside. When their health is not good, they are always anxious and worried about their health. Humans are creatures of habit. If someone is interested in health but lack medical knowledge, the person tends to try to solve problems within the scope of his knowledge. In such cases, people who blindly believe in Pasteur's germ theory tend to try to solve problems with only disinfectants and antibiotics. As a result, all the beneficial bacteria are killed and their health become worse.
Didn't you say last time that I need to break free from addictions to be happy?
Of course, the cause of anxiety may not be depression. Anxiety disorders, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and delusions of persecution may be withdrawal symptoms from addiction. It doesn't matter whether the psychological problem is caused by depression or withdrawal symptoms, because both have the same symptoms and the same causes. Causes of depression. Physical health.
I still don't quite understand why you say that depression is caused by health problems.
To solve a problem, you must find the root cause. The same goes for depression. If you look at examples of depression being treated, you can find the cause. Here are some methods that doctors recommend to patients with depression. Sunbathing when the weather is nice. Exercise. Get enough sleep. Balanced diet. And no drinking. All of these are effective for depression, and all of these are closely related to physical health. When your body becomes healthy, depressed symptoms will naturally improve. You must treat depression to be free from all addictions. In the end, you can only achieve true happiness when your body is healthy. Moreover, health has a positive effect on the previous 3 keys. Resting page. Bernard Shaw's Anecdotes. 1. When Bernard Shaw's play Candida was performed in New York, he sent a telegram to the actress who played the female lead, Cornelia Skinner.
Amazing skill. Unrivaled.
Miss Skinner, who was mentioned above, immediately replied at this great compliment.
Not deserve the compliment.
Then Shaw sent another telegram.
What I said was scenario.
Here is Miss Skinner's response to this.
Me too.
2. Churchill was dismissed from office during World War I, and everyone thought his political career was over. At that time, Shaw sent him an invitation to the first performance of his latest work. The accompanying letter from Shaw said,
I am sending you 2 invitation tickets, one for you and one for your friend, if you still have one.
Churchill immediately returned the invitation.
I am very sorry, but I cannot attend your first performance. If there is a second performance, please send me 2 more invitations.
3. A newspaper reporter asked Shaw this question.
What is the difference between an optimist and a pessimist?
Then Shaw replied,
It's simple. Let's say there is half a bottle of alcohol left. If you see that and say, okay, there is still half left, you're an optimist. If you sigh and say, oh, there is only half left, you're a pessimist.
The 4th key to eternal happiness. Physical health.
You said that health is important for freedom from addiction, 3rd key. Then is health also related to the surviving cost, 1st key or favorite job, 2nd key?
Yes, health is related to all the previous keys. The 4th and final key to eternal happiness is physical health. If you are healthy, depression will disappear along with illness. If you are free from depression, you will be happy without relying on addictions. Therefore, the 4th key, health has a positive effect on the other 3 keys. 1. If your body is healthy, depression will disappear, and you can be free from addiction. It's related with 3rd key, freedom from addiction. 2. Life becomes happy because you can do what you want to do with your strong physical strength. It's related with 2nd key, favorite job. 3. You don't have to work much for money because you are free from addictions, and your medical expenses are reduced. It's related with 1st key, surviving costs. Thank you for attending this lecture. See you in the part 4.